All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. And we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. Check them out in Corte Madera and Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week in Marin County from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. They're open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Well, I want to talk a little bit about Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick from ESPN went on the Rich Eisen show and was talking a little May NFL after the draft, but ahead of training camp and right in the middle of OTAs. And let's get into some of the things that Riddick said, because I thought, one, I like Louis quite a bit. And he said a couple things that are really interesting, and he said one thing that's totally ridiculous. But the most intriguing part of the entire dialogue between Louis Riddick and Rich Eisen was when it got to Sam Darnold. Louis Riddick says that the Niners believe that Sam Darnold could become the surprise of the year in the NFL, and that people that he's talked to who know quarterbacks really, really well really believe that Sam Darnold, with Kyle Shanahan and in this Niner offense, with all these weapons and all the talent surrounding it, even with the questions they have on the offensive line, that Sam Darnold could be not just the surprise of the 49ers, he could be the surprise of the league this year. That Sam Darnold could wind up being the surprise of the whole damn league and become the 49ers starting quarterback going forward. That's hard to believe. I got to be honest. I saw Sam Darnold at USC, turned it over a lot. I've seen him in the NFL. He's never really shown me anything that I thought was all that great. He's a big quarterback, but there's bigger. He's got a strong arm, but there's stronger. He's got a nice release, but it's kind of elongated. He's a little bit of a runner, but there's better runners. I mean, I can see why people were excited about him coming out of USC, but that's 5 years ago now, and he hasn't done it. So I don't know. I don't know what Sam Darnold's going to be, but to me, the fact that Louis Riddick, who's a really good personnel guy and pretty dialed in, that he's like the 10th person this offseason that has come out, that's gone on record as saying, yeah, the people I talk to who are, privy to the behind the scenes thinking in Santa Clara with the 49ers think that Sam Darnold is going to be the bust out surprise player of the NFL this year. And that you put him in an offense with Kyle Shanahan calling the plays and the weapons that he has at his disposal, Sam Darnold is going to be, he's going to find himself and become this. He's going to have this career renaissance in San Francisco. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I really don't know what to say about it. All I've got to say is that, man, this summer is going to be interesting. Man, I cannot wait for training camp to start. Every single day is going to be interesting. Is Brock healthy? Is he on the field? Is he participating in practices, or is he hurt? What does Trey Lance look like? What does Sam Darnold look like? And I mentioned this to Vish in our live stream earlier. What makes this already incredible? I mean, it's an incredible story anyway because of what the Niners invested to get Trey Lance, because of the drama involved in drafting Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant and having him break out last year, having the Niners being an iconic franchise, seeking that 6th Lombardi. They've been to 3 of the last 4 NFC championship games. They've been to 2 straight. They're so close to breaking through. The 49ers undoubtedly have one of the best rosters of any team in the NFL. If they're not the best roster, they're right there beneath Kansas City and Philadelphia. So all these things make it intriguing. But what makes it even more intriguing is that the 3 quarterbacks in this competition, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, and Trey Lance, these guys are all in. And the amount of intensity that is going to be coming from all 3 of these guys is going to be off the charts. Why? If Sam Darnold can't play here, Sam Darnold can't play. And Sam knows that. He knows what stakes he's got on the table there. If he, it's one thing to wash out with the Jets. It's one thing to wash out with the Panthers. But if you can't play for the San Francisco 49ers with Kyle Shanahan and all these weapons, you can't play. So Sam Darnold is literally going to show up fighting with urgency and passion for his NFL life. Everything that he's pointed to his football career for the last decade is all going to be decided this July and this August in Santa Clara. So he's passionate as hell because if he can't do it, he's done and he knows it. Trey Lance is super passionate because Trey Lance's daddy was a professional football player. Carlton played in the CFL. His younger brother plays college ball. Football is the family business. Trey thought he would be the face of this franchise and have a ton of success. Trey doesn't want to be good. Trey doesn't want to be great. Trey wants to be the next Mahomes. He's got really, really, really high standards. And he knows he's played 1 year of football since he graduated high school. He's got to make it happen, and he's got to make it happen right now. So he's got urgency galore. And then you got Brock Purdy, who, he's hearing everything that all the fans and all the media and all the content creators are saying. He's a dink and dunk guy. You can't win a Super Bowl with him. They don't believe in him. He hears the naysayers. He's got a boulder on his shoulder. Some guys have a chip. This guy's got a boulder. He was damn good at Iowa State. Led them to the Fiesta Bowl. Took Iowa State to heights they hadn't been at prior. And then still, despite all that success, was totally looked over in the draft and went last overall, Mr. Irrelevant. Now he gets an opportunity in a great situation. He plays his butt off. And he gets hurt. And now people are doubting him. He can't do it. He's a flash in the pan. His success wasn't about him. It was about Kyle. His success wasn't about him. It was about McCaffrey. Anybody could have done it. I mean, he's hearing all these things. So guess what? He's motivated like crazy. He's got a chip on that shoulder that's huge. He's got the boulder shoulder. So you got Purdy with the boulder shoulder, and he believes he's the starting quarterback. And Trey Lance believes that he was brought to San Francisco to be the starting quarterback, and he believes he's going to be one of the all-time greats. And then you got Sam Darnold, who's like, you know what? This is my opportunity. So these guys are going at this thing with everything they got, all three of them. And none of them are going to be happy with being number two. None. They all want to be number one. So you mix in that. And then the fact of what team we're talking about. We're talking about an iconic franchise. It's on the doorstep to their sixth Lombardi. This is the number one mystery. This is the number one talking point in the NFL going into this season. Who is the 49ers quarterback going to be? Who's going to win this competition? Ridiculous. He loves Seattle's draft, and I do too. John Schneider had a terrific draft. They killed it. They got all kinds of talent. But Lewis goes on to say that he feels like Seattle is ready to burst onto the scene, and that they're going to win the NFC West. And I just think that it's great to have enthusiasm for the draft, but when the draft clouds you from seeing the rest of the picture, that's not a good thing. And I mean, let's talk about this for a second. So he loves Seattle, a team that the 49ers beat 3 times last year. Beat them in Seattle, beat them at Levi's, beat them in the playoffs. Three games against Seattle, 3 Niner wins. The Niners last year, number 1 defense in the league, number 5 rated offense, number 1 in turnover differential. Those are the 3 most important defining factors of any football team. What do you rank on offense? What do you rank on defense? What do you rank in turnover differential? If there's one other stat that I think is vital when you're breaking down a football team, it's where do you rank against the run? Because if you can't stop the run, all you get is the run. If you can't stop the run, you really can't win. So the Niners in the NFL last year, number 1 defense in the NFL, number 5 offense in the NFL, number 1 turnover differential team in the NFL as far as turnover margin. Niners number 1. Number 1 in the NFL against the run. And have now added Javon Hargrave to their front. Seattle, by comparison, was 13th in the NFL in offense, 26th in the NFL in defense, 14th in the NFL in turnover differential. And in that all important, can you stop the run question, they were 28th in the league against the run. So put a sock in it, Lou. I mean, come on. Seriously. I love their draft too. I think John Schneider's a personnel god. I think the guy's really, really good. And there's no question they've had 2 good drafts in a row. But what did they do to improve their run? Defense. Who do they add in the middle? They didn't. Who do they add at linebacker? They didn't. Who do they add in the front 7? For the most part, they didn't. They really bypassed that. So now, even though the 49ers were number 1 in the NFL on defense, number 5 on offense, number 1 in turnover differential, and number 1 against the run, they're now going to take a back seat to Seattle, who's 13th on offense, 26th on defense, 14th in turnover differential, and 28th against the run. Think again. That ain't happening. So I'm bullish on Seattle's draft as well. I think Schneider's terrific. I know they hit on a number of guys in the draft. I thought that Witherspoon, corner from Illinois, is awesome. But let's pump the brakes on they're going to burst onto the scene. They're going to take over the division. They don't stop the run, and that hasn't changed. And they didn't make any significant free agent or draft additions that are going to help them on their front 7 stop the run. So let's pump the brakes on the Seahawks, Lou. All right, now let's get to the rest of the call, because I thought the rest of the dialogue was really interesting. That part was crazy. But Louis Riddick thinks the 49ers could be in trouble in 2023. And what he's citing is they don't know who the quarterback is. We're not sure if they can stay healthy. And in his mind, their O-line is not very strong, especially the right side of the O-line with Spencer Burford and Colton McKivitz. And that's fair. I mean, to me, that's fair. That's a fair opinion. The 49ers have been to 3 of the last 4 NFC championship games. I think they're going to figure out their quarterback situation. I think they're probably going to wind up staying healthy. We'll see on that. And I think the O-line is not nearly as bad as other people do. I'm not even convinced that going from Mike McGlinchey to Colton McKivitz is a downgrade. I think McKivitz is a better pass protector, and he may be a little bit more consistent. And I like the depth on their offensive line. They've got some quality depth behind their starters. So I don't look at the O-line as a disaster. I don't look at the Niners' health as, oh my God, they're not going to stay healthy. And as far as who's their quarterback, I think that part of it's fair. Now, this is the part where I think it's really interesting. And he stated it, but just to hear him state it, and in both Rich Eisen and Louis Riddick both agreed, the NFL's number 1 mystery going into the 2023 season is the 49ers quarterback situation. And that cannot be undersold. It absolutely cannot be. Brock Purdy was awesome last year. But so what? I mean, he got hurt. He hurt his elbow. And we don't know what he's going to be this year. So he's an unknown. And Trey Lance, I mean, Louis Riddick says, hey, man, I'm a big fan of Trey Lance, but I don't know what he is. I don't know what he's going to be. And I think that's fair because none of us really do at this point. He played 1 year of ball after high school at the FCS level, and he's got good traits that we all like. And that's it. After that, everything else is just, who knows, projection. We don't know. He's done some good things. He's done some bad things. He's got some things that I like. There's some things I don't like, but I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be. So to me, the Niners could be in trouble in 23. Okay, that's an opinion. And, to cite the unknown quarterback situation, I think it's totally fair. It is the NFL's number 1 mystery, which is why this is so intriguing. So really, really interesting conversation Louis Riddick had with Rich Eisen. I would encourage all of you to go on YouTube and check it out. But to me, the takeaways are multiple. One, Seattle killed the draft, ready to burst onto the scene, and Louis Riddick's basically saying that they're the best team in the NFC. Pump the brakes on that. The numbers say otherwise. They don't stop the run. That's number one. Number two, the Niners could be in trouble because they don't know who their quarterback is. They may not be able to stay healthy, and their O-line isn't great. I don't agree with that, but I think it's fair. And then the big point is somebody once again has told Louis Riddick, like they've told other people around the NFL, that Sam Darnold in San Francisco is going to potentially be the surprise of the year in the NFL. That he's going to come out of nowhere and have this career renaissance, and he's going to become this amazing reclamation project. And Sam Darnold is going to win this job over Brock Purdy and Trey Lance and become the number one quarterback of one of the best teams in the NFL. I mean, it's welcome to May. July and August are going to be amazing. And the one thing I can totally agree with, no doubt, the Niner quarterback situation is the number one mystery in the NFL. But what even and I can't believe that people are that high, sky high on Sam Darnold, but it's interesting, and it's added a layer of intrigue to this debate and to this competition that is going to make it juicy. I personally think Brock's going to win this battle, but who knows? Who knows? Hope you enjoyed our 49er video. Check out Louis Riddick with Rich Eisen, by the way, on YouTube. Thanks for Pig and a Pickle being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. And thanks to all of you for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.